How's it going? All right. We want to thank everybody for coming out today. You know, weather didn't really cooperate with us, but we're all here for a reason. We all think what's happening in Gaza, what Israel is doing to Gaza, and what happened to the peaceful activists that wanted to bring aid to Gaza is atrocious. We know that it was a massacre, and so we're here today to say stop U.S. aid to Israel and to say freedom for Gaza.
The more important point is that these ships were going to break a blockade that has no legality under international law or any kind of ethical principles whatsoever. And it's been so much as admitted by Israel through different press outlets that the goal isn't even a military one. The goal is to literally starve the people of Gaza in order to drive the government that Israel doesn't want out of power. And so it's an economic blockade. It's not a military blockade. Not even getting into the legalities of a military blockade, which wouldn't hold up based on these conditions. But Gaza doesn't have any military. They're not at war with Israel. They're not capable of going to war with Israel. Israel has the most advanced technology available in weapons and planes and helicopters and precision-guided missiles that also still kill a lot of innocent people. And then, of course, it almost all comes from the United States.
But I'm encouraged also because here we are, finally, outraged by what clearly, despite Israeli spin on the news, are Israeli international law abuses. I'm inspired by the protests and demonstrations that have sprung up throughout the world in the past 2 weeks. Thousands of people from Paris to Johannesburg to Chicago to Toronto, and I heard yesterday to Seoul, South Korea, have taken to the streets. Several governments have recalled their ambassadors to Israel. And to paraphrase Naomi Klein, which I shouldn't do because nobody can say it as well as Naomi Klein, I am most of all thrilled when I hear the 3 words that are going to end Israeli apartheid: boycott, divestment, sanctions.
You cannot have peace when you're continually building this stuff. The problem is that Israel's never had to choose, like other countries, between guns and butter. They've gotten butter and guns because we pay for it. They can pay for all of the schools that they want for Israeli citizens, build as many settlements as they want, carve the roads, imprison the Palestinian people, build a gigantic apartheid wall, and have all the F-16s and rockets that anybody could ever want. There is no incentive for them to end the occupation because it doesn't cost them a penny, not 1 penny. Why? Because we're all paying for it. And our colleagues and citizens and friends, they all know that. And the Congress is an occupied territory too. That's why they just knee-jerk response. Every time AIPAC says jump, mostly for non-binding resolutions, they all sign their names. Why? Because there's no political cost to it. It's up to each and one of us, and incumbent upon each and every one of us, not just us, to reach out to our friends and family and everybody, and actually, when there is a call to say, make a phone call, do this, do that, do it. It does make a difference, because believe me, the other side is
National Jewish Anti-Zionist Network strongly condemns Israel's May 31st early morning raid carried out in international waters on a maritime humanitarian convoy, during which Israeli soldiers attacked peaceful civilians with live ammunition, murdering at least 9 activists and wounding scores. We also strongly condemn the criminal, cruel, and inhuman siege on Gaza imposed by Israel with the United States backing. The siege is a crime against humanity, which is deepening a terrible humanitarian crisis affecting over 1.5 million people, most of whom are refugees from the ethnic cleansing in Palestine in 1948, and who are now imprisoned in the world's largest ghetto.
People of conscience are under attack. What do? Stand up, fight back! People of conscience are under attack. What do? Stand up out in the Middle East. No justice, no peace. U.S. out in the Middle East. No justice, no peace. U.S. out in the Middle East. No justice, no peace. U.S. out of the Middle East. Free. Congress, AIPAC, can't you see? Palestine. Free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
For the human rights abuses that are constantly being committed, we have this unique responsibility because of our direct support, our direct financial support in the illegal occupation. So the Minnesota Break the Bonds campaign wants all of you to join us in our message to the representatives, and we tell them that we, the people of Minnesota, have the moral obligation to make sound investments that will not aid the oppression of any one race, creed, or people. Minnesota's investments in Israel support Israel's apartheid system in both Israel and the occupied territories, causing thousands of civilian deaths, many of whom are children, as well as widespread human rights abuses. This apartheid system defies rulings of the International Court of Justice, more than 65 UN resolutions, and the 4th Geneva Convention. We, the people of Minnesota, demand our state act on our good conscience and support breaking economic ties with the apartheid state of Israel. We say Minnesota divest from Israel bonds, divest for justice in Palestine.
By us standing here, we are really standing in solidarity with our brothers and sisters in Gaza, and on the behalf of the Palestinian community here and over there, thank you very much, and we appreciate you coming. And one thing also I want to say about the flotilla and what happened, I believe that it is really the Israeli ships must be inspected, not the humanitarian ships that must be inspected, because those ships really, my phone could not find a better time to ring here. So, because those ships really, because the Israeli ships carry nuclear weapons or the latest weapons, and those weapons are really used to kill civilians on ships and otherwise, and you know how many Palestinian civilians have been killed. So actually, they got it all wrong. The international community must be inspecting Israeli ships, not humanitarian ships.
That's okay. I'm one of the short speakers. My name is Karen Sullivan. Just want to say that these past few weeks, Israel has really been trying to play the role of the victim, the poor misunderstood victim. They claim this recent massacre is really just an accident. They claim that they're just trying to protect their borders, that they are really trying to protect themselves from terrorists, trying to supply weapons to Hamas. But we know they are not the victims. They are the murderers and the occupiers and the prison guards of Gaza. This massacre is not an accident. This is one of the many deliberate actions that Israel government does to keep international solidarity people from connecting with the Palestinian people. We need to demand justice for the murder activities of the Gaza flotilla. They are just like us, activists in solidarity with Palestine. If the Palestinian cause isn't just, then what does Israel have to hide? Why won't they let members of the media or the peace movement meet with the leaders of social movements and see the impact of the wall, curfews, aerial bombings, home demolitions, collective punishment, and blockade? The Anti-War Committee is outraged at the continued support from the Obama administration and members of Congress. Please use this as an opportunity to demand no more aid to Israel. Thank you.
Gaza tonight.